Hello, angel babies. Welcome or welcome back. I'm Trisha, and this is Trisha's Temple. Thanks for being here. If you are a lover, a dreamer, this one is for you. I feel like lovers can be portrayed in a very specific light, often being seen as naive, floating off in their heads, sometimes just kind of disconnected from reality. But I want to look at the deeper roots of your loving heart, your lover heart, and why it is that you are like this. What brings this out in you? Owl. We have focus, prophecy, and wisdom. Heavy hitter. I think that there is a lot more ancient wisdom in your lover nature than people might give you credit for. It's like you can be a playful, whimsical, loving hearted person and still be very, very aware. In fact, sometimes those very painful experiences from your past have almost deepened your loving heart, opened it even further, created more compassion, more empathy, more commitment to loving completely. And there might be a tendency from you or from others to disregard that love. It's kind of like the head and the heart, that people will be like, oh, they're not very logical, they're very emotional. But there is a lot of wisdom in your emotion, in learning through deep feeling and intuition and a connection to the story of your heart. I think that this comes from you staying connected to the part of you that you were born with. That all along the way, you could have chosen to like close off your heart, harden it, reject connection, reject seeing the beauty and the wonderful parts of life, but you chose instead to open your heart. And you knew the risk, you knew that you could continue to get hurt. I saw this quote that was like, I will continue to fall in love, I'll heal in heaven. And I think that you have just had the attitude that despite the pain that you have experienced from being such an open-hearted person, it's worth it because you know that it also allows you the capacity to feel the ecstasy as much as the devastation. Okay. Let's see. what is the gift of this archetype in you? What's the beauty or the power of the way that you look at the world that maybe you've overlooked or undervalued in the past or others have? Swan, transformation, dreams, and illusion. I mean, swans mate for life. I think that there is just a true loyalty to your own heart that you have experienced throughout your life. And that can sometimes be underrated, undervalued. There can be a belief system that if you aren't going with the program that other people have set up for you, if you're not listening to the belief system that things are dangerous or things are um, that like it's all going downhill, or that like you just need to be worried. And it's not to say that you don't experience that, but you also have just like this deep conviction that it's like when you're watching a movie, and even though there's conflict, even though there are fights or there's confusion, there's moments where things aren't, it doesn't seem like things are going to work out. You're not that worried about it because you just have this belief that like good conquers evil. And I think that you have that belief system, that mentality in life. It's like, well, yeah, like that looks really bad over there, but like it will work out. And I think that you are part of the it all working out because of that belief. I think that that's a really underrated and powerful thing that you have, is knowing that your dreams, your vision for the way that life can be is possible because you believe in it, because you can picture it in your mind, and that you're creating it starting with that vision, and then in the little ways that you bring it into fruition through even just romanticizing your day-to-day life, through the way that you talk to people, through the way that you dress, or the way that you um, thinking of like playing with food and noticing little shapes while you're eating. That being a noticer comes with a deep connection to everything. There's this quote that says something along the lines of, my whimsy, my like the way that people perceive me as being naive, whimsical, lighthearted, um, that has been hard fought, hard won, that I have this ancient wisdom and pain and fire that forged that. I didn't come by it overnight, and I'm not taking it for granted either. Like, the reason that things are so magical to me is because I know what the alternative is. I know I've experienced that. Okay, let's look at the misunderstanding. So, how have you and others misunderstood this loving nature in you? We share so many birds. We have goal, adaptability, balance, and caution. Yeah. I think that they have misunderstood your ability to be, like, they'll label you as being naive or overly sensitive or just like too emotional, not logical, not seeing how reality really works, unaware, all of those types of things. And it makes it feel like you don't have the ability to adapt or to, like, know when to be cautious or know when to take a risk or not. It feels like you may have adopted or inherited, absorbed some of that belief about yourself as well. That there might be moments where you feel extremely overwhelmed and almost feel that fragile nature. And then you are able to zoom out and see, wait a minute, I know my shit. Like, I've been through it and I brought myself here. So I'm good. Like, I can do this. Um, one of the characters that I feel embodies lover energy to a T is Rapunzel. And Entangled, she's in the tower, just kind of romanticizing the idea of being outside of the tower, wondering when her life is going to begin. And Flynn shows up and he's like, this bridge for her to get outside of the tower. And at first she's like, whoa, this is amazing. And then she's like, oh no, what did I do? And feels some shame and some guilt and some overwhelm and fear because of all of the stories that she's been told by her mother about what the world consists of. That it is a dangerous place, that there are ruffians and thieves and thugs or whatever. And then she goes to the, like, tavern bar, and there really are those things that she's been warned about, these scary looking people. But she's like, oh, but they're just people, that's okay. And I'm a magical, whimsical, wonderful person. I have the power to reach them through my sharing my dreams. And I think that people might underestimate the power of your song and dance, your dreams, optimism. They assume that to motivate people or to just operate in the world, they have to come from a place of fear and scarcity. And instead, you're showing yourself and others that you can operate from love, from a belief in something better. But it's also understandable that you have, like I said, like inherited or absorbed some of those beliefs from your upbringing, from childhood, from the systems that tell you to be afraid, and from your own experience of, oh, like when I did open my heart in that instance, that didn't go the way that I was hoping it would. That person didn't respond, even though I was showing them love. They weren't able to return back to their heart. And you might have some level of like shame or blame on yourself for that. But it's not all on you to heal the whole world, even if you feel connected to the whole world. You can just start with your own heart. Okay. In what ways are you a lover beyond the romantic sense? I'm going to pull out these tarot cards because that's another misconception that I think a lot of people have is, oh, that just means that you are falling in love with every person who walks the earth or something. And I mean, a little bit, but not in the like, I need to be with them romantically, just an appreciation for humanity. Okay. In what ways have you does this lover energy show up outside of romantic relationships? I like to say that as a lover, your heartbeat is connected to the earth. So when Mother Earth is feeling disrupted, so are you. Okay, we have the Ten of Wands, very much giving that type of disrupted energy. And then we have the Eight of Cups. I think that you see the romance, see the beauty and the love in just about everything. And there might be specific ways that you pour that passion and creativity, love, abundance into the earth, into your I think this Eight of Cups reminds me of a poem that I wrote, which starts with, "Hope is a four-letter word, dried up by past versions of me." And it goes on to just express the ways that when you are a very hopeful and romantic and just like constantly looking for the good in life type of person, sometimes you can bypass the pain or like not allow yourself to feel it and almost go numb. And maybe you feel like that is a sign that you are not a lover anymore, or that in those times of your life you were not yourself. But I think that those are protective times. We have times when our heart is in full bloom and very open, very able to give and receive. And then there are times when we are in hibernation, retreating, kind of pulling things back for integration. And sometimes that feels very empty, or like you don't really have the answers. You don't really know where to go from there. And that can feel very disorienting for somebody who is deeply connected to themselves. But I think that you're starting to see how those moments of, I've started calling it like 0 point, of being at baseline, having no particular direction that you're heading, at the fork in the road, that you are able to then meet a lot more aspects of yourself, maybe parts that got a little lost along the way. And these letters feel like notes that you are writing to those past versions, and kind of saying, "Hey, I see you, I honor you, thank you for bringing me here, and now I will take it from here. We can do it differently now." kind of clearing the debris that may have come from some of those really intensely painful times where you, oh my gosh, there are so many bugs crawling on the side of my house. So many moments where you felt you were in that like very stormy weather and didn't know how you were going to make it out. And maybe it feels a little um, disorienting, or like you should be going in one direction. You should be feeling okay. When you have been wounded like this, it's almost like your system is then wired for that type of intensity. And this time that you are having now, I think, is an opportunity to just honor the parts that made it through that. Like we were talking about earlier, that like you have a really great capacity to handle whatever shit is thrown at you, that you are adaptable, and it has also given you more awareness for like your bullshit detector is a lot stronger now. But I think you may be feeling a bit like you need to know all of your next steps. And just like the way that I'm even delivering this part of the message, it can feel a little bit muddled, or like it's not coming through as clearly as you want it to. It's not as pretty and eloquent and here's the step-by-step process of how to get there, because you haven't done this part of the journey yet. But you're figuring it out by reclaiming those pieces of you that got a little overwhelmed by the storms. You're babying yourself. It's interesting that that is what came up for ways that you are a lover outside of romance. I think you have such a deep capacity for love, and you might put a lot of pressure on yourself to be doling that out at all times or be in that energy at all times. And when you're not, you might think that there's something like that you need to fix or change. And maybe the answer, if you want to call it that, is more that you don't need to fix or change anything about how you're feeling right now. Saw 30/30 when I said that. Okay. Where does your capacity for love need more boundaries so that you don't fall into self-abandonment or self-betrayal again, if that's something that you experienced in the past? I think that that's a very common thing for lovers. Okay, we have the Eight of Swords, the Nine of Wands, and the Oracle of Pentacles, or the Queen of Pentacles. I think the first and most important thing for you to acknowledge is that you need a break, that you need time to come back into your own energy, and that doesn't isn't just like a one and done type of a thing. It's not like, oh, so I took a break for like a few days or a few weeks even, and like now I should be good to go. I think that this energy is showing that you really need a constant refueling, reconnection, return to that fertile, sensual, connected to the earth part of you. And when you don't, you feel very, very trapped. Like you don't have any options. Maybe even like life isn't worth living. Like you want to escape from your circumstances, whether that is a relationship or where you live, your work, whatever. You feel so trapped, isolated, um, like you are this lioness in the cage. And even if you were to get out, you would be faced with so many things that feel insurmountable to you. I think this energy is calling you to give in to some of the things that you might have been resisting when it comes to pleasure or rest or just like playing again, exploring. Maybe there's some project that you've been putting on the back burner and feeling like, oh, like I'll do that when I have a little bit more time, or like after I finish this thing that's more of like an adulting task. Maybe you have this long list of to-dos that feels like very pressing or very do or die. And this energy feels like it's longing for you to throw some things out the window, to um, clear some space for dancing, to turn off the noise and hear yourself think and breathe and remember what it is that makes you enjoy being alive. And I think that within that, you will be able to figure out what boundaries you need to set. So maybe you create this stillness, this quiet, this time for play and pleasure. And in those moments, you have a realization that, like, oh, you know what? Within that relationship that I'm in, I think that it would be better if I created a little bit of a boundary in this way. Maybe that person um, is draining your energy. Or on the other hand, maybe ways that you could ask for more help from the people in your life and could feel more open to receiving again. Yeah. I think that your mind and your heart will return to a state of creativity, which will help you come up with all sorts of solutions for whatever situations you're in. Okay, what does it mean for you to hold your own heart with the same care that you offer to others? And maybe some ways that you already do this. Because I don't think that you are a novice at any of this. I don't think this is your first rodeo. You may just sometimes need a reminder that A, you're doing great, and B, um, it's okay to want things for yourself. This is the Nine of Cups, the way that I explain it is your truest emotional fulfillment. And if you look at the Nine of Cups next to the Ten of Cups is really about your community and the people that you are connected to, and you bringing your emotional fulfillment and sharing it with them. So we had the Eight of Cups. Come back. Which is about leaving behind things that may have been good, but maybe just weren't for your highest good or weren't the most fulfilling for you, maybe started to drain you. They weren't aligned with you anymore, to move towards your Nine of Cups. So I think that you are leaving behind your Eight of Cups to pursue your Nine of Cups. And perhaps you've already been catching glimpses of your Nine of Cups, and you're getting a clear vision of what that would look like for you. In just little moments throughout the day, in maybe the way that you wake up in the morning and a little ritual that you will do for yourself, or in different people that you're starting to connect with, or in different creative ideas that you're starting to have. I think that you are pouring into yourself, and you can pour into yourself through, like I said earlier, creating those moments of calm and quiet to hear those little nudges that say, hey, I would really like this. I'm really craving this. And then this is about honoring that. This is about building that trust again, that when you speak up, when that inner voice speaks up, whether it's your inner child or your inner teenager, that inner lover, you are respecting that voice. And perhaps you don't always immediately jump to fulfill those wishes. Like, let's say that your inner child is feeling extremely overwhelmed and scared and tired and really wants to cry, but you are in the middle of a meeting at work. And so instead of crying right there, you acknowledge that part of you and you say, I see you, I feel you. We will take the time to feel into this and honor it more. Um, when it's a little bit safer to do so. And maybe you're noticing how your desires and your fears are closely attached to each other. And allowing your fears to speak without them needing to run the show. So that could look like, oh, I have this fear of being seen or being heard, or of intimate connection, or of my own power. And you can acknowledge that and kind of go back to your own roots of where that stems from, and then give it the chance to breathe, to take on new life, to move from fear to desire, from fear to love again, to hope, to expansion. I feel like fear is a very tense and tight, and it feels like being in that cage where you have no options. And something that you're doing is kind of surrendering into it, letting it wash over you, and remembering that you will return back on the other side to a state of love and a state of openness, because you let it process through you. You aren't so attached to it. I think that that is something that you have allowed others to do around you. You've created a safe space for people to process their emotions around you, to maybe even project onto you. And now you're creating those safe spaces for yourself. Moments when you can break down, moments when you can just be indifferent or apathetic, moments when you can be very passionate and excited about something and not have to hide that. Moments when you can be curious and not know how something works, not have all the answers. Yeah. What would it feel like to remain open while also being deeply rooted in yourself? Having that open heart that doesn't mean you have to absorb things from other people that don't belong to you, doesn't mean you have to be anything more or less than who you are. I think that there may be a tendency to, or a belief that you have to give everything that you have simply because you have it. The other day, I was at this community thing and somebody asked for something that I had. And I was about to use it, but I offered it to them. And afterwards, I was like, oh, why did I do that? That was very, like, sad. Sad that I did that. And I think that you might have moments where you do things that kind of feel like you're pouring out even from resources that you need for yourself. And it is the end of that season. You are being remade. One of my comfort movies more recently is the movie Happiness for Beginners. And if you haven't seen it, the main character, she goes through a divorce and she's trying to just like re-find herself, reconnect to herself. And she writes this list of her goals for this hiking trip that she's going to go on in order to reconnect to herself. And she writes that she's going to emerge or rise from the ashes like a freaking phoenix. And I think that there may be a pressure that you've put on yourself to like constantly be reborn and become something new, to grow, to evolve, to change your form. And it might be connected to a sense of safety and stability and like that scarcity and abundance paradigm, where when you are acknowledging these aspects of yourself that feel like they don't fit you anymore, or they come from wounding, it's not that they need to be fixed or that there's something broken or wrong with you, that you need to become a new person. It's more so that you are shedding layers, shedding armor that was keeping you disconnected from yourself. I think that, like, while this is talking about remaining open-hearted while rooted in yourself, that one of the truest things that you have learned is that being open doesn't mean that you have like this perfect filtration system. And as much as you want to protect yourself from pain or being hurt by life or the world or other people, I think you're realizing that's not so much the goal, because you just do naturally experience the full gamut, the full range of emotions. You're experiencing more wholeness and an appreciation for it. But there's also more centeredness that's coming along with that. You are finding the things, like we have the Nine of Cups and the Nine of Pentacles. And I want to read what the Nine of Pentacles says, because really they're both about you and how you are feeling emotionally fulfilled and physically fulfilled. Okay, this one. Everything is feeling luxurious and abundant. You are doing the things that align with your values, which allows you to prosper. You are the maker of your destiny. What you choose to do with this life also impacts your community. Using your power, however unimpressive you may think it is, for global good is something you should be proud to claim. When you release yourself from shame, doubt, and undeserved guilt, you inspire others to do the same. The reversed meaning: are you examining how your actions affect your community and your future self? Are you investing in businesses, causes, and people you believe in? Go over your actions with a fine-tooth comb and see what's out of alignment. And there's a channel the vibe section. The stone is honey calcite, which represents hard work, healthy home, and devotion. The song is Love and Peace by Quincy Jones, and the scent is fresh laundry and dryer sheets. This reminds me of the rainbow fish. The rainbow fish has all of these beautiful scales that make him a rainbow, make him shimmery. And at first, everyone's really jealous of him, and they don't even want to be around him because he's a rainbow. They're like, well, what's wrong with you? And then little by little, he starts to share his scales with people. And it's like he's helping them um, reconnect to love, to beauty. And I think that you have spent a lot of your life feeling like you needed to be giving the shirt off of your back, or even sharing the wisdom that you have inside of you. And that's not a bad impulse. It's just that maybe there is some opportunity for you to give when you feel centered in yourself, and to notice when you gave from a place of people pleasing or scarcity, fear, depletion. And rather than shaming yourself for doing that, you're just acknowledging it and then seeing ways that you can pour back into yourself so that it can kind of readjust, recalibrate for future opportunities. Okay, the last question I have is, how is life asking you to express your lover energy right now? Connect to it more completely. Okay. We have the Ten of Swords. I just had a little like teeny wave of embarrassment. Like, I'm sitting out in the middle of my backyard, flipping through cards, talking about being a lover. And I think maybe one of the ways that you are being invited by life and to connect more fully with yourself is to notice the moments when you do things that are very you, very in your essence, and just be a witness for your own life. And maybe a little bit of embarrassment will come up, maybe some fear or insecurity. And that's okay. But I think you're also gaining strength in doing it anyway and just allowing yourself to exist as you are. Your lover energy is really craving freedom of expression. I think that you spent a lot of time being told by other people and just the powers that be systems that the way that you are was wrong, weird, too much, not enough. And it may have caused you to shrink yourself, go small, retreat inside of yourself. And you are now being offered the opportunity to return to your power, to your strength, to that lover quality within you that is a lot less afraid to just give somebody a compliment, even if it makes you look dumb, to just do the kind, generous, fun things that feel fulfilling to you and are coming from that place of excitement, and watching how that ends up pouring back and nourishing you in return. Maybe it's making a card for somebody, or talking to your neighbor, doing things that are almost taboo, like a little bit of rebellion in showing up in the world like you're having fun, like you're curious, like you have that childlike wonder again. You're seeing things that people don't see. You're flirting with life. Yeah. You're returning to a very abundant space while still honoring the pain that you've experienced. It doesn't need to go anywhere. They can coexist. That part of you that feels like this is hard or this is scary or is it worth it? that part is allowed to be there at the same time as the part of you that is energetic about life, passionate, sensual, creative. That's what I have for you today. Thank you so much for being here. If this has resonated with you and you are interested in a personal reading, can be more supportive to you directly, I would love to do a reading for you. You can check out the links down below in the description and the first pinned comment. Love you. Bye.